Hi, I'm Alex Daniels, and this is the Weekly Countdown. Every week on the Weekly Countdown, we're going to count down the top news stories of the week, in any order which we happen to be so randomly inclined to use. Our hope is that you'll be equally informed and entertained. Now, how do you know that a guy talking to you from his attic is actually a credible news source? Or better put, how do you know that I'm as good as CNN or Fox News or MSNBC? Well, I'm not going to be talking about Casey Anthony today. Today we're bringing you 7 news stories in 8 minutes, brought to you in order of wackiness. Why? Because we're wacky like that. First off, Google+. This week, Google launched a social network, like Facebook, except better. You can send status updates only to certain friends, called circles, and you can use video chat, a feature not yet available on Facebook. There's only one problem. It's in this thing called closed beta, which basically means if you're not a tech geek or didn't sign up for it within the first 10 minutes, you can't join, because there's only a limited amount of slots. Which means, even if you did get in, you'd have no friends on Google+. It's an anti-social network. It's for people who would be people if there weren't any people. Or, basically, people who have missed the point of a social network entirely. So now what's the takeaway here? For all of its pluses, Google Plus still isn't ready. Number 6 on our countdown comes to us from Harvard Law School, where researchers have determined that 4th of July celebrations turn kids into Republicans. Furthermore, the study alludes that 4th of July parades energize only Republicans and not Democrats. You see, the 4th of July is generally agreed to stand for the values which our country was founded on: freedom, sacrifice, and independence. Values which, apparently, Democrats don't value. So what's the takeaway here? Republicans are better Americans than Democrats. Harvard says so. Number 5. Women. Women are wacky. But what's wackier is the way that they're treated. You see, this week Reuters announced this list of the top earning females in Hollywood. Sarah Jessica Parker and Angelina Jolie topped this list with $30 million each. Now, that sounds impressive, until you compare that to what Johnny Depp made on just the 4 Pirates films. $350 million. More than 11 times as much as the women. You see, in many fields, men make more money than women. You can even look to New Zealand, where according to the BBC, men make an average of 12% more than women. Why? Well, the head of the Employers and Manufacturers Association, Alistair Thompson, gave his opinion. He said, quote, "Who takes the most sick leave? Women do, in general. Why? Because once a month they have sick problems. They have children that they have to take time off to go home and take leave of. Therefore, it's their productivity. It's not their fault. I'm sorry, I don't like saying these things because it makes me sound like I'm sexist, but it's the facts of life." End quote. It's facts of life. Now, what's most shocking about his quote is that not that he implies that women's periods keep them from doing their jobs, or that somehow men don't have families to go home and take care of. It's that a 12% pay gap is accounted for by missing 3% of the workdays. Either way, we can see that there's a problem integrating women into the workforce and the economy equally. So how do we show women that we care about and respect them just as much as we do men? We pander to them. You see, in Canada, it's been noted that female investors have felt alienated. So BMO, one of Canada's largest banks, started events to help solve this problem. One of these is Stocks in the City, a women's banking event complete with martinis. Apparently, the theory here is that when you give women alcohol, they'll be much freer with their money. The other theory appears to be that women simply aren't investing in the market, not because they feel that the market isn't stable, or they're just not as prone to risky investments as men are, but rather, they just don't know how to use their money. Hence, the other program, titled succinctly, Women and Money. But with all this focus on women, it's worth noting another crisis, with an even wackier title, the Man Session. You see, apparently, men have been hired far less in the recession than women have. So, what's the takeaway here? How can we solve this problem? Either hire more men and pay them less, or hire less women and pay them more. Either way, balance is key. Number 4, blood types. Now, we all know our blood type is genetic and an important part of our lives. But did you know it's also an excuse for behavior? Just ask Ryu Matsumoto, the Japanese Minister of Reconstruction after the big Japan earthquake. In light of an offensive comment he made about the victims he was charged to help, Ryu resigned, saying his blood type made him make that irresponsible comment. He said, quote, "My blood type's B, which means I can be irritable and impetuous, and my intentions don't always come across," end quote. Which, honestly, I could believe if that was actually what type B blood meant. Type B people are actually people who are wild, creative, and a doer. Someone who might, say, actually help the victims of the Japan earthquake instead of picking on them. So what's the takeaway here? If you're going to blame your blood type, get your facts straight. Otherwise, you just look ridiculous. Number 3 on our countdown, space creatures. Only 60 years after the space race, Iran has entered. That's right, guys. Iran has a plan to send monkeys into space. Now you may be saying, Alex, that's great, but the United States and Russia already accomplished that over 40 years ago. What's the point of Iran doing it now? Simian overpopulation, you may wonder? No. The answer may actually lie in our old Cold War adversary, in fact. Last Tuesday, Moscow scientists announced that they expect to meet aliens within the next 2 decades. Why the sudden confidence? Well, as Andrei Finkelstein, the director of the Russian Academy of Applied Sciences Institute, states, quote, "The whole time we have been searching for extraterrestrial civilizations, we have mainly been waiting for messages from space, and not the other way around," end quote. The takeaway? Aliens are shy. So what better way to establish that we're a friendly species than to stick flying Arabian monkeys on them? Number 2, effective marketing. We in America are so easily entertained. When we buy a smartphone with 3G, 4G GPS and a camera, all we expect is a smartphone with 3G, 4G GPS and a camera. But should we expect more? As of Wednesday, South Korean smartphone manufacturer Pantech has been randomly entering people who buy their phones into lotteries to win special freebies. Now, what might these freebies be, you may ask? Small pleasures, really. Ferraris, notebook computers, and a Mediterranean cruise tickets are some of the prizes Reuters listed. And their strategy is working. They've reached record sales in June. Note, they did not actually say record profit. So the takeaway here, giving away bigger stuff than you're actually selling is the most effective marketing tool of all. And the wackiest story of all, ineffective marketing. While Pantech has been busy giving away more than it's actually been selling, Germany can't seem to get people to buy into its latest innovation. What Germany's done is taken what was once the world's largest hotel, spanning 3 miles of oceanfront property, and turned it into a hostel for youth. Now, you'd think that people would be thrilled to get to stay in what was once a luxury hotel, but something is keeping them away from this seemingly great deal. What is it? Well, it could be that in early marketing for the hostel, Germany emphasized its historical role, namely, as the organizational headquarters for an operation called Strength Through Joy, a Nazi operation designed to prepare 20,000 citizens for war through organized leisure. Never minding what organized leisure would entail to a Nazi, people would rather not stay at a place popularized by genocidal soldiers. Pirke Kunel of the Documentation Center Prora notes the fact that the site features chronicled Nazi history may be a lack of historical sensitivity. So the takeaway? No matter what we do, Nazis will never be a selling point. And on that note, our countdown comes to a close. I'm Alex Daniels, and join us next week for even more wackiness. Thank you.